Hi, John Alexander here with the second match in our league with Canadian Threshold. Lost the first one to Blood Moon on turn 1 and turn 2. This hand is mulligan, no lands. This time I actually managed to click on mulligan when I was supposed to. This hand is not very exciting, but I'm gonna keep. Our opponent also mulligans to 6. Tropical, I think I don't want that. Mountain, okay, more mountains. We definitely do not like that. Although, if this is indeed burn, the Hooting Mandrels are pretty good. Let's go ahead and ponder here of Tropical. We do need to find a blue card, and this is rough. I'm not sure if I want to draw the Pierce or the Force now. Because I definitely don't want to draw the Lightning Bolt, or do I? Our opponent might be on burn with other 1-mana creature, and if they have Eidolon, I'm gonna daze that. So yeah, not drawing the Lightning Bolt is good. But do I want to pitch Daze, Force, or Spell Pierce to my Force if my opponent does something now? I think I'm gonna Daze and then cast Force, pitching Force, and keep up the Spell Pierce. So I'm gonna draw Force. Ideally, I'm just gonna have to Daze and not use the Force. Of course, I only need the Force in case my opponent has either Spirit Guide or 2-mana Hate Piece and a Soul Land now. But drawing the 2 Hooting Mandrels is definitely cool here if my opponent is on Chalices, because I am inclined to just let Chalice resolve if that's what they do now. So another mountain, that is Chalice of the Void. Yeah, given that I have double Force and a Daze and 2 Hooting Mandrels, letting this resolve is reasonable. And yeah, just make sure to not draw the Lightning Bolt next turn. And this would have been much worse had I Nimble Mongoose instead of Hooting Mandrels, but yeah, another very interesting match against Chalices and Moons. Of course, I'm being sarcastic here. I don't want to be too negative, but okay, our opponent also doing nothing. Yeah, this is what often happens with these Chalice decks. They play 1 piece of Fate, and then they don't really do anything. Usually they play 2 or 3, and if you deal with them, they're dead. But if one of them resolves, you are usually dead, so it's still good for them. We need to draw another land to be able to cast Hooting Mandrels. It doesn't matter. Okay, that's pretty good. And if we have to discard, excuse me, we can also cast Hooting Mandrels the next turn. Although I'd much rather have my opponent do something here and me be able to daze that. Okay, not doing anything. I hope I draw land now. I wonder what my opponent thinks I'm on. Land. That is pretty bad, and well, is it? If our opponent has Magus, we can dismember that, so I still think I want to keep all the blue cards. So yeah, clean up, discard the Dismember. I want to keep all the blue cards and the 2 Mandrels. And now our opponent is playing something, I guess. Petal, of course. Spirit Guide. Is this through the breach? Chalice for 2. This shuts off my Dazes, but given that I have forces, I think I'm fine with this. I could basically trade 2 cards for this Chalice. So it's not unlikely that I'm going to draw another blue card to pitch to the second force. The Spell Pierce is dead, the Dazes would be dead. And drawing a third force isn't super likely, so I think I'm just going to double Daze this to kill the Lotus Petal and have my opponent put cards, have myself put cards in the graveyard. So cast Chalice. If this resolves, which means our opponent has another Spirit Guide, then I'm fine with that. This Chalice does only counter the Dazes, but I think killing a Lotus Petal is reasonable, and also getting 2 cards in my graveyard. I might also just draw more Daze. And I did draw the third force. So I'm gonna keep the lands. Can I undo that? Okay. And now this Chalice doesn't look very good. I just hope to draw more blue cards now. Sneak attack. Spell Pierce. Okay, Magic Online lagging a little bit. If I draw a land, I can play the other Mandrills. Blue card is also fine. If I force again, I can also cast the other Mandrills. Okay, more mana. More sneak attack. More Chalice. More Chalice. Perfectly fine with that. So long as it isn't Chalice for 6, who doesn't really... I don't really care. And another pitch card for force. So this game's looking pretty good. So yeah, this is what usually happens if you can ignore one of the pieces and counter another. Then these decks are just a lot of mana. Spirit Guide, a Petal, 7 lands. Through the Breach. Cast for pay 1 life and exile a blue card. Now opponent has 1 card left, which likely is a creature, and they are on a 2-turn clock. Dead next turn, that is. And Hooting Mandrills doing work. Inferno Titan. Oh, Wormcoil Engine, that is something. And we win. Through the Breach, instant, okay. This matchup is better with Flusterstorm over Invasive Surgery in the sideboard, but okay. We're gonna go ahead and board the same way we did in the last one. The Dismember doesn't look great. I don't want to bring the Barbarian Ring here. This only affects graveyards and libraries, so it doesn't do anything. So board out the Stifles. Keep the Loam, I think. Although it is not super amazing, it does allow us to cast more spells. Both by getting us lands in case our opponent has Trinisphere, and also by getting cards in the graveyard for Delve. So 2 more cuts. I'm wondering if I should board out Deathrite Shaman. I think boarding out 1 is okay. It's not amazing. Although Lightning Bolt also isn't great in this matchup. Some of these decks have some weird card that lets you cast stuff from the graveyard, so maybe Surgical is good. But I don't think I want to go there. I think I like this. And let's click submit. This hand is pretty good, especially if our opponent mulligans. We don't have a creature, but we have a lot of stuff to take care of things. Mulligan to 5, keep, okay. We do not have Grudge or Trigon, which is less than ideal, but if our opponent does nothing, that's great for us, because now we get to duress with Days Up, and then next turn have Counterspell open. We also have Force, and we drew a Brainstorm, which is usually okay. Interesting hand. Brainstorm usually one of the better cards to have in Legacy. And I think I'm just gonna go ahead and Wasteland this. Does depend on what I draw. Yeah, definitely Wastelanding now and playing Delver. So this game is looking pretty good. You've seen in the last one how this works out when sneak attack. Let's Daze. You've seen in the last match, how this matchup goes, or these kind of matchups, if you don't have something. But now we get the complete opposite picture, where yes, they sometimes do a little bit, but if you can deal with a couple of things, you're in a pretty good position. I would not mind drawing Loam here. And our opponent is on Inferno Titan, and 1 other card. Pyroclasm. Okay. I wonder if I should counter this. I don't think so, because so I could put my opponent on a 4-turn clock. I think that's too risky. I also have a lot of creatures in my deck currently, so that's good. And I do have the Brainstorm. Ponder, great draw. All of these are good. I think I'm going to be aggressive here and draw and play the Mandrills. No, because then I still have Brainstorm, Force, Counterspell. Double Force open for my next turn. I would force pitching Brainstorm if my opponent did something. Keeping the Wasteland in the graveyard in case I draw Loam. Okay, Mountain. Yeah, this game is looking really good now. Our opponent 4 mana off from casting their only card, and yeah, they see this does not look too great for them. They do know 1 Force, and yeah, this second match about as interesting as the first one, only things going in the opposite direction. Thanks for tuning in, and see you tomorrow with match number 3. Take care.